Welcome. It is yours truly, Charles Comer and James on the Over and Under podcast. We are bringing you the best college football content that you can get anywhere on the internet. I'm better than all the big leagues. I'm better than the ones from CBS. I'm better than Netflix movies. You come get it here. You come get it in prime time Sunday night. James, how are you? We're looking good, sir. We got a new layout. We're online. You can see us everywhere. Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. James, how are you feeling today, man?
I'm good. I mean, you throwing a lot of stuff out there, but hey, appreciate the confidence. That's what's up. But yeah, we here. Another Sunday, ready to go.
Another Sunday. Might I say the most excited Sunday I am to do this podcast. A lot happened. A lot of upsets happened. Um, a lot of people had a heart attack last night, then got revived, and then had a heart attack again. You know what I mean? It was a lot that happened yesterday in college football. And we're not going to waste your time. We're going to go ahead and get into it, James. Arizona beat who last night?
Oh,
Utah.
yep.
Arizona beat Utah last night. Arizona's identity and Utah's identity basically changed their offense identity, right? So you had before prior that Arizona would be more of a team that it was just Fafita, McMillan, and that was it. Maybe one or two wide receivers would catch the ball, right? That was the whole identity. And now in this game, Fafita had over 197 passing yards. Not great, but however, to McMillan wasn't his main target. His main target was Keon Burnett, and then McMillan had like 6 catches also. I believe we said last week that if Fafita during the off week was able to find more of his other targets on the team, that they could pull out this game, right? That they could make it a game. So how did you feel about seeing that?
Hey, I mean, once you spread the ball around, that's what happens. Because I mean, they're gonna focus on McMillan, of course. So if you can just spread around, like we said, pull out W's. Of course, you always gotta go back to your main target, but at the same time, it's just you got to spread that ball around as a quarterback and everything, especially against a defense like Utah. And for Utah, I don't know. I don't know what happened there.
Where's
I thought
Cam
they were.
Rising? Where's Cam?
I don't know, but I thought they were gonna play a lot better than what they did. And yeah, I mean, it's the Big 12. Everybody just beats each other up, like we've been saying. And here's another example. Nobody expected Arizona to go in here and beat Utah, but here we are.
You know, we are here, and the Big 12 is crazy. And we were talking about, I was just asking you, where's Cam Rising, right? He was the savior for Utah that was supposed to be the best quarterback to come out this year, number one draft pick. He was old. His eligibility is running out. But he gets hurt, 2 games ago? He has a laceration on his hand. And they're like, oh, don't worry. He'll be back next week. Okay, we go next week. No Cam. They're like, oh, don't worry. He'll be back next week or the next week. We're like, nah, we've seen this before. We've seen y'all, excuse me. We've seen y'all basically say, oh, he'll be back, he'll be back, he'll be back. And he never comes back. Right? Now, last week you won a game with him. But this week, Arizona, they had the bye blues. They sung sad songs. They came together. They kumbaya, and they said, "Look, we're not losing this game. We're gonna go in here. We're gonna attack." And Isaac Wilson had a rough night. 20 for 40, 280 yards though, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions that came in a crucial moment. But I think out of all of this, the positive that we have to look for, him is he found his that we had to look for him as speaking Isaac Wilson is he's found his main target, right? Dorian Singer emerged, 9 receptions, 155 yards. So even though it was a loss, right? I feel that like maybe he's gained some confidence that at least he knows there's one person he can throw to.
Yeah, for
Now,
sure.
um Arizona's defense came through. This is the main reason they won the game. 3 sacks, 2 interceptions, 7 tackles for loss. That's a good defensive outing, right? You don't really get it can get better than that, but it really don't get no better than that. Especially against Utah that's been good offensively and more defensively. So you already broke down their defense and now you're breaking down their offense. So it'll be interesting to how the next couple of games for Arizona will play out. But they were locked in on the bye week. Utah, however, got exposed. I don't think their hopes of being in the Big 12 are. I don't think they're gonna go through. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I mean that's how you want to come off of a bye. Just you that week you went into it, y'all weren't looking too hot, and then you come into this game coming off that bye and everything, looking really good. Even the defense is looking good and stuff. So that's what I wanted to see from Arizona, and I'm glad they finally figured it out and everything and put things together, and not just focusing on McMillan. So if they can keep doing this and keep rolling forward this way, I think they can make some noise. But that's if they can, stay the way they came out and played Utah. This could be a one-time thing for all we know. It's the Big 12. They can get blown out next week for all we know. So if they can just stay focused and the defense plays the way they played this past week, I think they'll be okay. Um, I don't know about Big 12 championship or anything, but they'll be decent. They'll maybe upset a few people.
Well, the next 2 games, Arizona, they go play Texas Tech and they play BYU, right? I think Texas Tech is a win. They didn't look so hot against Cincinnati, and then BYU. I don't know. Like I said last week, the Mormons are working. They're working some
Yep.
witchcraft over there in the Mormon territory. You know what I mean? Um, and then Utah, however, on the other hand, they go play Arizona State, a good Arizona State team, and then they go play TCU. TCU had a good week. Arizona State had a bye. So, excuse me. But yeah, so far for that game, um, good things for Arizona that we saw good defense. However, for Utah, without Cam Rising, doesn't look like they're going to be able to be elite teams or
Yeah.
almost elite teams, right? Um, but moving forward, all right, put this on the big screen. James, this A right here, this A right,
Anyway.
this A right, nah, ain't no anyway. This A right here, you feel me? Let me paint you a picture of the emotions that I went through in this game, okay? I didn't want to watch the game. Before, I told my wife, I was like, hey man, I don't want to watch this. I'm nervous. This is a big game. One, it's the board's first SEC game. Two, Georgia's good, and they just almost got beat. So they're gonna come out firing on all cylinders. And then I was like, three, it's just something in my heart is telling me this is gonna be a game where I'm gonna literally like take off my shirt or like bust my TV. Like those are the type of vibes that I were feeling before the game, right? James came out whooping belt to ass. You feel me? Straight belt to ass. When your mama tell you to go get a switch off the tree and you gotta go get it, and you know when you on your way, you're walking back. That's exactly what Bama was doing. They was watching Georgia walk back to him, hitting him with that switch, belt to ass. And then it wasn't belt to ass, James. First of all, let me talk about the first half. Kalen DeBoer and Womack had a game plan for Georgia since day one. I don't think they waited to do that in a week. I think they've watched Georgia from day one and say, okay, look, this is how we're going to attack Georgia. This is what we have, right? They didn't run inside the tackles much. They ran outside the tackles. They knew, look, we have better speed than Georgia on the outside. Our tackles are really good. You got Kalen Proctor, right? He's a freshman or a sophomore now, but he's played in big games like this before. But you got Jalen Milroe. Jalen Milroe could be a running back if he wanted to. And then you got Jalen Milroe that can throw. So, first half, I was excited, man. I'm not going to lie to you. I was excited, but then I knew when Georgia scored, I said, here it goes. They're exposing our secondary. Because they went after our secondary like the first couple of drives, like threw them, just bombs, just whoo, whoo. And I was just like, so I want to know how you felt about the first half.
I didn't watch the game. I'm gonna say that right now.
Oh, a classic you missed. A
I
classic.
I watched the highlights, but this is one game I had too much going on Saturday, so I didn't watch the game. But from what I saw, I thought Alabama was gonna run away with it. For when I looked at it, because I had to check the parlay, see if I'm making money, and I saw they were like 21-0 or whatever it was, and I was like, oh, this is not what I was expecting, because I didn't put money on that game because I was like, I don't know how confident I am in them playing well against each other. It probably might be a defensive struggle. So I was like, I'll skip out on that. Shouldn't have skipped out on it. Should have put something on somebody. But yeah, Georgia came out I think just slow. It felt like I think they just weren't settled in for some reason. And that's what I had mentioned that when they played Kentucky as well. They came out just like super sluggish and slow. And then Kentucky held on to the ball for most of the game, which is why that game was such a close game. And I felt the same kind of thing going on with the first half of this game with Bama. But then I don't know. I guess they flipped that switch. I just had to get one in the end zone, and then it became a shootout basically. And yeah, I mean, classic Alabama Georgia game, and I did not watch it. But it was
Listen,
it was a solid game from the highlights that I saw and everything.
so let me paint you my emotions for the second half. Okay, Georgia comes out and they score. I say, no, the first drive they didn't score. The second drive they came out, they scored. Right? I say, okay, we have to answer. And when we didn't answer, I looked at my wife and I said, I'm going to crash out if they come back. I was like, I'm going to crash out. And she was like, calm down. I was like, no, you don't understand. This is Georgia still. Just because they came out getting spanked, those are still 5-star athletes around there, right? Across the way. Those coaches won national championships. This is still Georgia. When they came back, James, and they took the lead, I said, I took out like I just threw my shirt at the TV. Like I threw it. And my was like, oh my gosh. I told you. I was like, I knew this shit was gonna happen. In my mind, I was like, DeBoer has no idea that if he loses this game with the biggest comeback Georgia has ever had, he might as well not show his face in Tallahassee. I mean, in Tuscaloosa anymore. It doesn't matter. He might as well. Because what did we say last year about Ryan Day? If you can't win these rivalry games, and this is not even a rivalry game, usually Auburn versus Alabama, but this is a clash of titans, James. We're talking about a clash of titans right here. And you are smacking the shit out of the other titan, and then you just stop. The play calling, the aggressiveness just stops. You punt it like 6 times, 7 times. You got a field goal. But the thing that I love is that Nick Saban, before he left, one recruit that he loved was named Ryan Williams. Okay, and Ryan, when Nick Saban left, he decommitted. But he talked to the board. The board told him, "Hey, I got you. The offense is for you. The offense. I have an offensive scheme. You've seen the Aroma Day. You've seen the other players that I've gotten in NFL. Right? Trust in me." And Ryan Williams said, okay, I'll trust him. James, he's only 17 years old. Okay? Catch, sidestep, spin, dead leg spin at that, accelerate, put his mouthpiece out while still running. Does the Dirty Bird dance? Listen, I don't care if Georgia wants to run it back tomorrow. Run it back. The 17-year-old made them look absolutely despicable. Despicable. You hear me? Good win for Bama. I just had to pop my shit right there because I'm telling you, last night I was hot in my house and it was 66 degrees in here. That's how nervous and crazy it got here last night. My wife was live tweeting about me. Right now, we do always talk about the winner, but we have to talk about Georgia, right? How do we view the dogs now? Like, how do you view Georgia after this loss?
They're still Georgia. They need to figure out who they want to be in the first half is what they need to do. Because like I said, if they come out playing slow like they did against Kentucky, against Alabama or something like that, they're gonna lose. And what happened? They lost. So I don't know what they need to do or who they need to like put into the scheme or what to get some type of explosion into the first half because they Kentucky and this game just slow starts, just not playing, Georgia ball. And I think they're still going to be okay. They're fine. They just got to figure that part out and just see what the issue is there when they come into the first half. But other than that, I see the same old team. They're going to be good. They're going to make a run in the playoffs. I don't see who else will beat them besides Texas. So I think they'll be okay. I think
What
they're
about
still the same,
Tennessee?
Georgia. Oh yeah, I forget about Tennessee. Uh, well, I don't know.
Who do you have winning the SEC right now after last night?
After last night,
Who do you see in
my
Atlanta? Who do you see in
my,
Atlanta? The two teams in Atlanta.
my money is still Texas and either probably Bama or Tennessee.
Listen, if it's Texas and Bama, the speed on that field is
Mm-hmm.
going to be a oh my gosh. Listen, Alabama secondary got exposed, a little bit exposed with Georgia. I don't know if them boys can keep up with them Texas boys.
They
I
fast.
don't know, man. And they'll get better by the time they'll get better, but you feel me? When you on a game, there's a 99 speed and there's a 90 speed, and you can tell the difference even though it's in the 90s. All right,
Yeah.
but hopefully we'll get to that. Hopefully we'll get there. I see Texas and Alabama, or to be honest with you, I see Tennessee and Texas. I see the battle of the orange, the battle of the T for sure.
I would have said Ole Miss, but they fumbled that this week. So yeah, go ahead and fall off that bandwagon already. I mean, they'll probably be okay, but that was just a nasty loss against
Yeah,
Kentucky at that. So I don't know what they're doing over there in Kentucky, but they slowing down these powerhouses.
we'll get to that. That's on the menu. All right, we'll get to that. That's on the menu. But we'll go ahead and put a pin in this. I almost knocked over my goddamn mic. We'll go over and put a pin in this. Good win for Alabama. Good win for DeBoer. DeBoer is undefeated against Kirby Smart, your coach Lanning, against Sark, and now somebody else I forgot, but he's undefeated. However, we got to talk about a team that got smacked last week, right? Kansas State.
Mm-hmm.
Avery Johnson come back. Avery Johnson got a comeback in him. Now about this game, we knew they were playing Oklahoma State, and I just want to go ahead and just throw this out here. Ollie Gordon, for the love of God, what is wrong with you, sir? Tell me, call me, call. I'm gonna put a number down here, the 1-800 Over and Under podcast hotline. I need you to call me and tell me how you were a Doak Walker winner last year. And if I check my notes correct, James, um, 15 carries, 76 yards.
Uh, he ran for 76 yards in the first quarter. So what he didn't like I think he ran for maybe 5 or 6 more yards the rest of the game. So what's really going on over there in Oklahoma State with the running back room? I don't know what's happened. It's just I don't know if they're just not you 15 carries. They're giving them the ball, but maybe there's no push in the front lines. I don't know, but he doesn't look like Ollie Gordon of old. Like I would put put him in my parlays and I wouldn't have no worries about it. I hadn't even touched him this year. I'm like, I'm not putting no money on this man because he performed the first game of the season and hasn't been the same since. So I don't know if it's an injury issue or offensive line issue or what, but he's just not the same running back as he was last year.
You are correct. We're gonna get back to him. Let me highlight the winners first, okay? Because we gotta highlight Avery Johnson. He had a bad game last week, right? Threw a lot of interceptions. Didn't really run the ball like we knew he could do. This week, 5 total touchdowns, 2 on the ground, 3 through the air, 19 for 31, 259 yards. The winner of this game, though, I always want to highlight Avery Johnson, the winning quarterback, but the Kansas State offensive line and the Kansas State defense with the 2 interceptions, they deserve some NIL money. Go ahead and put the 100K. Go ahead and put the 100K in the bag, right? Giddings had a big day. 15 carries, 187 yards. That's a running back right there with 15 carries.
Yeah.
That's what you're supposed to do. 100 something with 15 carries, right? 12.5 yards per carry. So they were gashing that defense. All around, it was a great performance for Kansas State. I'm excited for them. They were one of the favorites that I picked earlier this year to be in the Big 12 contention. But I'm going to tell you what Oklahoma State's problem is. It's grandfather
Okay.
Bowman, bro. It's grandfather Bo. I'm telling you.
Why do you say
26
that?
to 50,
Oh,
364 yards because that's all they can do is throw. 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions. You got Ollie Gordon, 15 for 76. Oklahoma State can't find a running game, bro, and their offense production is paying for it. Bowman is not that guy. How are you 6th year and you can't complete 70% of your passes?
it is what it is. I mean, he was at Tech at one point, wasn't he? Or am I tripping?
Um, I believe so.
Okay. I kind of thought so because even at Tech he didn't in the air raid offense he still didn't look that great, and then he's been around the league for a minute, so I I don't know if it's all on him though, but he's not who Oklahoma State thinks he is because he can throw for as many yards as he wants, but he had how many attempts? 50?
50. 26 for 50.
26 to 50 and three something.
That's like
That's a
49% complete.
yeah. I said that is
Well,
a lot
yeah.
of attempts for just what 49%. I mean, yeah, get your yards, cool. I mean, but you've had 50 attempts, so I mean, you got to get
No,
some yards.
that's
Event
51% because half
or 51%.
50%. Yeah, 50% would be 25. So he's 51%.
Yeah. Either
50,
way,
50.2. He under 75. Let's put it
yeah,
that
I'm about
way.
to say either way,
Yeah.
it's I don't know. Him and Ollie Gordon are just not performing as well as I thought they were. Going off of week 1, they looked really good. Week 2, he still looked good. Ollie not so much. And now it's just been a downfall of each week. They just getting worse and worse. And they're just gonna keep losing games. To be honest, they may go 7-5, 6-6. I don't know.
You think
They
they'll
may
lose to
make
Colorado?
yeah. And it pains me to say that, but yeah.
Clip it. Clip it. Clip
But
it.
I mean, they don't look good. So I mean, if Colorado, I don't know if they're playing in Stillwater or in Colorado, but either way, they can't stop anybody, and their offense is just stagnant at times. And then when they do get it going, it's too late. They need to just establish Ollie Gordon and what they want to do with him, or just figure out what his problem is. Because I mean, he still had 15 carries, and that's all he showed for it, 76 yards, compared to Gideon, who had the same amount of carries and went over 100 something yards. So it has to be something with and I hate to throw the blame, but it might be the offensive line. I don't know. I'm not sure. Or it just might be Ollie Gordon as a whole. He just might not be in it, anymore. You know what I mean? I mean, he's going to
I'm gonna
lead next year, so
I'm gonna go back and watch the game. Okay, I'm gonna go back and watch. And next week when we do a preview of Oklahoma State, I'm gonna let you know what it was or what is the problem, not what it was.
yeah, yeah.
What is the problem, right? So we'll definitely go back. We'll definitely look at that. Shout out to Avery Johnson on your comeback game. I had faith in you a little bit, not a lot,
A
just a
little
little
bit.
bit.
Who they
But
got
I
next
had
week?
I actually do not know. Let me
I'm
pull
looking
up their
right now.
schedule.
I got it. So they got Colorado next week.
No, there's a bye, so they have a bye. Then they
Oh,
have
so yeah, my fault. They got Colorado on the 12th. My fault.
ooh, you give Colorado a bye?
Does
Might
Colorado have a bye, or is just Kansas State
yeah,
has a bye? Or they
Colorado has
both
a
have a
bye.
bye?
Colorado has a bye. I think they both have a bye.
Oh, okay. Well, I don't know.
Well, we're gonna.
I think Kansas State wins that one, but I digress. We'll get into that when we get into
We might live bet that me and you a little $50 bet on that game. You know
it.
what I mean? I think we got that. We've been hitting parlays back to back over here all weekend. So might put a little 50 on it, see what we can do. But this next team we talk about, they don't like gambling where they do it at, right? They're pretty Mormon. But you tell me, man, is BYU your Big 12 favorite right now? Because that game against Baylor was hectic, electric.
Oh man, so they came out just firing on all cylinders. I forget how to say his name. I got it right here though. Redslav, I think that's how he say his name. Was everywhere on the field, running it, throwing it. They came out to Waco and was just like, we about to ball out. And that's what they did in that first half. But this is the Big 12, and Baylor's still Baylor. And they let them back into the game. But they kept fighting, though. So it's just more of like they got to just keep their foot on the pedal and keep just keep running through them. But BYU might be a Big 12 favorite for me right now. The way they're playing, their quarterback, I gotta look it up every time. Retzlaff, excuse me. He he's their their heart and soul right now on offense, running it, throwing it, and if they just keep running through him, I think they can run pretty far. Um, and Baylor is just they're not bad at all. They just can't roll off a win. I don't know what it is because it became a shootout in the second half, and I mean Baylor, if they would have played like this for start of the game, it might have been just a shootout through the whole thing. But BYU went up big the first half, and then Baylor started trying to crawl back. So I don't know what they need to do in Waco with Baylor, but they need to figure out their identity as a whole, so they can pull out wins against like teams like BYU and things like that. But I don't know. BYU is just real right now. The total yards for both teams, BYU had 367 yards, and then Baylor had 387. But most of that came through the air because they had to make that comeback. Rushing BYU 151 and Baylor 63, and 151. A lot of that came from pulled up again Retzlaff, and he's a killer, bro. He's a killer. The Mormons are playing ball right now, and I hope they keep running through it. I've never been like the hugest BYU fan, but the way this dude's playing, he's making me a fan. He plays like just crazy. I'm trying to think of somebody that used to play like him. Oh my goodness, I can't think of somebody right now,
Does it
but
remind you a little of a Manziel or less
yeah, yeah,
electric?
yeah. There you go. There, like a Manziel type of player. He reminds me a lot of that. He's not like the same caliber of Manziel, but he has the little things of like Manziel, the way he plays over there at BYU. So they can run through the Big 12 maybe. They got Arizona next, Oklahoma State, UCF, Utah, and then Kansas. So this Arizona game, oh well, they got a bye. Sorry. So the Arizona game on the 12th, it'll be a test just because of how Arizona played this past Saturday. So I don't know. I think BYU might be the Big 12 favorite right now.
Mm, I like that. I like BYU being the Big 12 favorite. They really had some good games, exciting TV to watch for sure.
Yeah.
Big 12. Um, Now let's go to the frauds. All right, this we're gonna call this segment all frauds, fraudulent activity. I wish I had a sound bite for this. It would be an alarm, like woo woo woo, danger danger, fraudulent activity. All right, Ole Miss is a SEC fraud, my guy. Oh my god, James. You know what they needed this game? A Deshaun Junkins. That's what they needed this game. They needed somebody that they could run the ball against that Kentucky defense.
Is
Because that
it
Kentucky
is it Ole
go
Miss the
ahead.
frauds, or is Kentucky just that good on defense?
Kentucky, listen, Kentucky lost the Georgia game because their coach didn't want to drop his balls and go for it on a 4th and 7. And then I believe that South Carolina is the real deal. That defense is just the real deal. So that loss on them it just is what it is. That one L, right? And in the SEC, you're granted one L. That's it, one L. If you want to be elite. Ole Miss, this is not an one L that I'm granting them. This is fraudulent, bro. This is fraudulent, bro. Ole Miss was 1 of 10 on third downs, James. Kentucky had the ball 40 minutes of the possession time. Their defense they could only do so much, bro. The Ole Miss, like you say, the defense can only do so much when your offense is going 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out, and I only get to get a quick water break, tell my little shawty on the field, hey, I'm still checking for you, but then I'm going in there and get my ass beat again. You're like what else can I do? And Lane Kiffin looks crazy because he transferred most of these people on the defense from he transferred most of the players on the defensive side. You told the people, you told the boosters, hey, defense is gonna look outstanding. They're gonna look way better. They said, okay. These first couple of games, you really didn't play anybody, and everybody was like, all right, well, even you knew it. Even Lane Kiffin said he was like, you know, Wake Forest isn't really going to show us what the SEC is going to be like. Kentucky will. And Kentucky came in and spanked that ass, bro. I mean, absolutely. What, 3 for 3 in the red zone? 4 for 16 on third downs, 0 turnovers, less than 30 yards in penalties. In the SIP, you wrote the SIP on the end zone. Y'all stylish right now, but you lost to Kentucky? Explain that to me, Jen. Explain like how are they not frauds?
They didn't play terribly. They just didn't play like they played against these other teams, these lesser teams. And it's the SEC, so all these, even the lesser SEC teams, they're all ready to take down the top dog. And this was just Ole Miss's time. You said it, Lane Kiffin said it. They're not getting any looks of just how the SEC is going to look with these lesser teams. And then maybe they should have scheduled, a ranked team or something to play maybe the third game of the season or something, just to get some type of test. Because they just been blowing out everybody and just not really playing anyone. So Vandegrift had a good game, 18 to 28, 243 yards. Who's ever said Vandegrift is playing well? Not me till today. So, Kentucky, they were doing their thing. They didn't run the ball really well, but that defense, man, that Kentucky defense, it'll make any sense. They're really good. Key had 105 yards receiving and a touchdown. And then for Ole Miss, Dart, he threw for 261, a touchdown, where he's been throwing for over 300 yards and like 4 or 5 touchdowns. And
Fraudulent.
they have not been playing well on rushing the ball well either. 13-62 for a touchdown. Dart 13-22. But Harris still balling. Trey, he had 176 yards, 11 catches, and a TD. So I don't know. It's more just Ole Miss not capitalizing when they need to capitalize. And this is a trap game for most teams in the SEC, Kentucky. And so far, Kentucky's almost knocked off top dog Georgia. They got Ole Miss. They play Texas at some point, so Texas better be prepared for this type of trap game. So Kentucky is just one of those sneaky teams that can just, hold on to the ball forever and just, manage the clock and beat you that way and let their defense just run you out the building. So everyone that has Kentucky on the schedule, I would circle that game because that's going to be your trap game, and that's who will or just run you out the building.
So they're
And
3-2 right now.
yeah,
Tell me because if Kentucky improves and becomes these trap games like you say for the SEC,
yeah,
may they be the team that makes it in the college 12 team playoff, like one of the at large? Because look,
ooh,
they got Vanderbilt, that's a
mm-hmm.
dub. Florida, we already know Billy Napier will probably be fired by then. They go play Auburn, as you see. We'll talk about in a minute. Ain't looking too hot in Auburn, okay? They go play Tennessee. They got to go to Rocky Top.
Mm-hmm.
That's we don't know.
Yeah.
Murray State. Then they play Texas. They got to go to Austin, and then they play Louisville at the end. So they're 3-2 right now. So let's say they win what? So 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So they're 8 and what? 8-4.
Mm-hmm.
Because they lose to Texas, lose to Tennessee.
And that's where there could be a trap game for Tennessee and Texas and Louisville. If they somehow rattle off those 3 wins in some form or fashion, we could see them in the playoff. We could see Kentucky in there because they're not playing terrible. Their defense is just holding these people down. So if I'm a Texas fan, if I'm a Tennessee fan, Louisville fan, calendar, circle that game and be ready. Tell your team this Kentucky team, they almost beat Georgia, but if it wasn't for just one play, we might be talking a whole different conversation about Georgia right now. And then they just rode off a win of Ole Miss. So y'all better be ready when the Kentucky guys come to town. So they're scary.
Oh, scary hours. Feel me? Halloween coming up. We got the new background, as you guys can see. Just quick break. As you guys can see on our new layout right here, we got the Twitter, the Instagram, the TikTok at the bottom. So please go ahead and follow us. Go ahead and get the socials up. We'll keep you connected. I'll be posting clips, when I get time. But clips will be coming on the TikTok also. TikTok. I said TikTok. TikTok also. But we're gonna get back to it, James. Like I said, this is the fraud segment of the show. Are the Sooners okay?
I've been telling you already that I'm not believing in this Oklahoma team.
Wait, just wait. Total yards Auburn 482, Oklahoma 291. Time of possession Auburn 35 minutes, 24 minutes for OU. First downs Auburn 26, OU 11. James, how in the hell do you win the yardage battle, win the time of possessions, and win the first downs, and you lose? You want to know how you lose? Because your quarterback threw in coverage and he doesn't know how to read. I could have read that. I'm telling you, I could have read that. I'm not even quarterback. I'm an offensive lineman. Before he even threw it, I said, that is a pick, sir. They're about to pick you off. Why?
Listen, Auburn got just quarterback issues. But I'm talking about Oklahoma right now because yeah, they won, they beat Auburn, yeah, whoop de doo. But Oklahoma is not Oklahoma of old right now. They have no type of identity, and
Their defense has an identity.
well, yeah, I meant to say that, but their defense is solid, but offense, I don't know who to even worry about. The receivers are just okay. Running the game is subpar. Quarterback, they don't know who they want to play at quarterback right now. It's just it's not Oklahoma football like you usually see. And going into these tougher games down the road, they got who? Texas next, I believe.
Texas, South Carolina, Ole Miss.
So, those might be some ugly games for Oklahoma, but Auburn, man, listen, y'all need to get into that portal, get y'all a quarterback ASAP. Once the season's over, y'all need to go get y'all QB because y'all have solid receivers that y'all just brought in, and nobody can throw them the ball. So,
Cam Coleman's nice, a nice freshman. He
mm-hmm.
not Ryan Williams, but he nice.
And I forgot the other freshman's name, but I mean,
Jeremiah Smith,
yeah.
on Auburn
So
or
no,
Ohio.
yeah, Auburn has two good freshman receivers, but no quarterback. So I hope next year they still there. They get a quarterback and they get better. But who knows? Auburn may just settle for all I know. But I
Hey,
thought,
now
go ahead.
no, go ahead. Go ahead. Finish your thought.
Oh, I was just gonna say I thought Auburn was gonna be a lot better this year with their talent at receiver, but I didn't think their quarterback play was gonna, you know, spiral down to what it is now. So I spoke too soon when I was speaking about Auburn earlier this season.
Really did. You really did. I wasn't gonna bring that up. I was gonna let you have it. You feel me? But where I will disagree with you is that Oklahoma is in a limbo. I don't think they're in a limbo. I just think they're starting to put it together in week 4, right? And you usually put it together in week 1 as an SEC team. Usually know what you got, but Jackson Arnold wasn't it, so they had to make like I said, they had to make an oil change, right? And when you make an oil change, sometimes they'll go when you go to get an oil change, they'll be like, "Hey, your tire's messed up," or something else is messed up, or your sparks plugs need to be better. However, I mean, Oklahoma didn't have any of their starting wide receivers in here. None of their starting wide receivers. They're down some offensive linemen, right? So they're okay. I think they're all right. They
Mm.
played a good game. I think Hawkins played a decent game for sure for me. 10 for 15, 161, no touchdowns, but no turnovers. And then he ran for 69 yards for a rushing TD. Bro is putting his body on the line to get the dub. That's hard. But listen, that Oklahoma Texas game goes different ways always. It don't matter who number 1, who number 2. That environment is crazy. This year, however, I think that environment is not going to be that crazy. I think Texas is going to whoop that ass. But
Yeah.
um, Auburn, let me tell you something. You got Georgia. You have no more. You have no road home games until November. All of October, you go to Georgia, you go to Missouri, you go to Kentucky.
Damn.
You have no quarterback. Your coach has no idea what he wants to do on offense. Your defense let a freshman quarterback come into their house, not throw a touchdown pass, but march down the field. They didn't have any wide receivers, none of their star wide receivers from Oklahoma, and they marched down your field. You got to go play Georgia, who just lost to Bama. Good luck. You got to play Missouri, who's been doubted. You got to go play Kentucky, that is finding their groove of like they're the bad boys of SEC. I just want to let you know, it might be a long season for you. Tuck it in. Um, your coach needs to make sure he's talking to his freshmen right now that, hey, I can get you another 25, 30K if you stay for me one more year. Because if it's gonna be bad like this at the year, and you don't have a quarterback, coming through, the best thing they can do is make sure that they get Deuce Knight, that was committed to Notre Dame, but he's been wanting to flip to Auburn. That's the only thing. And he'll be a freshman quarterback next year, so he's still got to be in the system. If you don't get a quarterback in a transfer portal, I don't see Cam Coleman. I don't see any of those freshman wide receivers staying. Why stay when I can go play for Alabama or Ohio State, where they definitely have quarterbacks?
Yeah. Yep.
So good luck to Auburn. Um, Good riddance. But
That's crazy.
we going to that's the end of that segment of the frauds, because this next team ain't no fraud, but we're gonna go ahead and go to the West Coast. James, USC Stamps Big 10 win. How you feeling about it?
Barely. It was looking ugly for a second. So Wisconsin came out playing Wisconsin ball, running all over USC, throwing it. I was like, oh man, is USC about to get ran out the building? Wisconsin was playing really well. I was
Yeah.
surprised. I thought I was about to lose a pick. But what's his name? Miller Moss, right? Miller.
Mm-hmm.
I was about to say Mike Miller for some reason. I just want to make sure I was right. Miller Moss came out and just started slinging the ball all around the field, brought them back. Buddy was playing crazy, 30 for 45, 308, three touchdowns and an interception. And all they needed was a spark, and he was the spark, and they came back and blew out Wisconsin. Wisconsin's still a good team, but they had no business like playing the way they played against USC. They may just want to show that Big Ten play, and that's why it kind of like came out a little bit stronger than I thought they were going to come out. But USC still pulls it off. Total offense for Wisconsin 286. Total offense for USC 469 after they woke up. Passing 308 for USC, 180 for Wisconsin. Rushing 161 for USC, and 106 for Wisconsin. I don't know if it was me or you who was writing off Miller Moss kind of a week or two ago.
That was you. That
It
was you,
was
sir.
me?
Yeah, that was definitely you.
Okay. I didn't know which one of us it was. I can't remember that far back. But anywho, he showed me that he can actually play. That I don't know if you saw the clip, but him spinning into the end zone almost like looked like a concussion. Buddy is he's him. He's doing everything he can to show that he is the QB for USC, and he's trying to lead them to a playoff berth. And I like that. I like that he's just that gritty and trying to do everything he can for the team and everything like that. It's just like Georgia. They can't have those type of first halves against
No.
against like better teams down the way. They got to come out like they did in the second half, in the first half, the rest of the season, because their schedule is not getting any easier, and you're playing in the Big Ten now, so any game you could lose easily. So I don't know what it is with these teams and struggling in the first half this past Saturday, but I think it's just more maybe preparedness. No, I'll take that back. Not preparedness. Maybe just you're playing a lesser team, so you're not too worried about it. And then the lesser team punches you in the mouth, and then you finally wake up and like, all right, we got to get it together. We're not about to lose
Yeah.
to a Wisconsin or whoever else. So if they can just figure that out, I think they'll be fine. I think they'll make a playoff berth, but if they because they lose to probably what? Who's it?
So this
Oregon?
this is the schedule, okay?
Okay, I was about
Minnesota's
to say.
next,
Okay.
Penn State, but
Okay.
they got Penn State at home.
Okay.
They got to go to Maryland, and then Rutgers comes to them. That's in October. They got 4 games in October. All right, and then November, Washington, Nebraska, UCLA, Notre Dame. No Oregon. No
Okay, so
Ohio
no
State.
Oregon.
No
So
Oregon. No Ohio State. No
the
Michigan.
Penn the
Well, they
Penn
did play
State
Michigan.
game is gonna be crazy, and that's one of those games that they gotta lock in. Uh, Nebraska, they're always sneaky, playing well. Another game that's a good trap game for USC. Notre Dame, that looks like they're finally figuring it out over there. So there's 3 games on that schedule. Did you say Maryland or Minnesota?
Maryland and Minnesota. So they
Oh,
play
Maryland
Minnesota
and
next
Minnesota.
week, and then 3 weeks, 2 weeks after that, they play Maryland.
Okay, so Maryland is another track game that I see they could fall to. So Penn State, you gotta lock in. Maryland, just make sure you don't have a half like you had against Wisconsin. Notre Dame's gonna be a game, and I would say UCLA, but after I saw their performance against Oregon, I don't think they're really a threat to anybody. But I think they'll
Really?
be okay. UCLA, nah, I don't think so. I think Oregon is they just didn't play amazing. But I digress. That's a whole different thing. We ain't even gonna talk about Oregon today, but we'll see with USC.
All right. Well, uh, shout out to USC. Shout out to the West Coast. I don't know how to say this to you, James. I'm just asking you one question. Do you believe? Do you believe now
And
a
what?
four a 14 point a
Oh,
14 point? That was the point spread. They said UCF was the best rushing. They had the best rushing attack in the nation. Last week I asked you, James. I said, okay, look, you want to say the offensive line is still terrible? I give you that, but what about the defense? You said no. You said everything is still the same. You said there's no way they're gonna win this game, and I agreed with you. I'll take that L. I didn't have faith, but deep down in my heart, I wanted this win. Right? I wanted this win 27-21, 14-7. You know, some by a touchdown. I didn't want to.
mm-hmm.
I didn't want a field goal. I wanted a touchdown. James, I got 48-21, player. We're not even gonna talk about the offense. Let's just talk about the defense. 5 sacks, 1 touchdown, defense touchdown, 2 interceptions, 13 tackles for loss. Okay. UCF running backs. George Richardson, 4 for 11. 2 carries, 7 yards. The only thing that had rushing attack was Harvey, 16 for 77, and then KJ Jefferson had 20 carries for 76 yards. No hundreds, no hundos. No hundos. 15 James, 15, 13 tackles for loss, 2 interceptions, 5 sacks. My defense not better, James. We ain't getting no
All right,
respect around here.
settle down, settle down. Okay. Um, Colorado is figuring it out
Oh,
because
figuring it out. Okay.
if you go from the first game of the season and then that second game against Nebraska look like the same old Colorado from last year.
Did.
And then who they played last week? Baylor,
Mm-hmm.
right? So that comeback for Baylor, didn't see that happening last year. This game against UCF, shutting down that enormous rushing attack, wouldn't happen last year. So I say all that to say, I think Dion or whoever is giving those speeches and that practice finally got into their heads like, hey, we can't have this type of play that we had the first 2 games of the season against North Dakota and Nebraska. We're in Big 12 play now, and we need to lock in. And so far, the comeback and then this game right here, Colorado might make some noise. And I know I've been the Colorado hater on this pod, and
Mm.
I still will be.
Mm. I'll stand
Because
tall. Stand 10. Stand on 10, James. I like that. Still will be. Stand 10.
Because who they got next? I just
Kansas
had it
State.
too. Kansas State, and they both have a bye. Kansas State is a solid team, another rushing team. So also ranked. If they beat Kansas State, maybe we can talk about something. But as of now, kudos to you, Colorado. I'll give you a round of applause. Kudos to you for showing up and showing out. But I'm not impressed yet.
Mm. You know, they're still moving the goalposts out here. It's crazy when you
I'm
put
not moving
on.
the goalposts.
No, whoa.
I'm
Hey, but
acknowledging what they've gotten better. I'm acknowledging that. From
your
what I said
quarterback
at the
goes. Your quarterback only got sacked twice, right? Twice on a good defense. 28 for 35, 290. All right. Your running backs almost had, y'all ran collectively 128 yards. Collectively, I'll give you that. It wasn't one person, but collectively, we ran 128 yards. James, I don't know, I say you moving the goalposts because first it was they the same Colorado, and now it's like, well, if you win this game, I'll give you. You know what? We can beat Kansas. We're gonna beat Kansas State. We're gonna beat Arizona. We're gonna beat Cincinnati. And then what are you gonna say? Colorado's gonna be looking here 7-1, going into the last 4 games of their Big 12. They're gonna play Tech, Utah, Kansas, Oklahoma State. The only game
Okay.
in there that you can tell me that they won't be a favorite on is Utah.
Tech.
Fuck out. Okay, I'll give you that too.
No,
Outright.
I'll just play it, bro. I'll just play
But
it.
if we get what 3 more wins, 2 more wins, bowl eligible.
Oh.
Second year of Dion at a program that was what 1-12, 1-11. Then last year he went 4-6, and then this year he already won 4 games, and we're not even in October yet. Hey man, at some point, we gotta tip our hat. You know what I mean?
I just did.
Point, nah, you weren't tipping your hat. You just flicked it. You feel me? You ain't really tip it. You feel me? You just flicked it up like, yeah.
All right.
Good job. You know what I mean? But
I gave him a round of applause. Hey,
you're right.
I don't want to peak the mic. I gave him a round of applause. Kudos to them. Right. They beat UCF, a really good team. Great. I just want to see them keep progressing.
All right. Well, we shall see. Shout out to them boys in Colorado. I'm still out here, I'm still out here trying. I'm struggling to support y'all, but I'm still out here trying. James, now as we come to the end, I know you got something hot and fresh off the press, so go ahead and give it to me. We're gonna call this segment the Krispy Kreme donut line. You feel me? It's coming hot and fresh off the fresh.
Oh my goodness.
Hot and fresh off the line. You feel me?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so we're talking about Colorado here. You say they've won 4 games, was 4-1 or whatever, but do they stumble against a Cincinnati, a Tech, a Kansas, or even Oklahoma State? Because we see them play lesser teams and kind of struggle. So staying into Big 12 play, these trap games, they could be trap games for them. Do they get over that hump and finish the season with 1 loss, or do they stumble and lose to 1 or 2 of these teams? Because I'm not even going to count the Arizona or Kansas State rank the better teams. I'm just counting the lesser ones. So what do you think?
No, we don't. They don't lose to those.
All right.
I'm gonna tell you. Yo, wait. That's crazy. That's crazy. Listen, I think you're finally getting that Dion is finally getting through the young man's head that, like, look, y'all are really good. If you listen to what we say, if you do what we ask you to do, we'll have a game plan. You just have to execute it. Right? Now, they got to go to Tech at night. everyone's going to be giving their best when they play Colorado because it's just going to be TV. It's going to be primetime TV. It's going to be TV to watch, right? But everybody don't have a Shador Sanders. Everyone don't have a Travis Hunter. They don't have a William Shepard. You feel me? They don't have a JT Horn. They don't have a Jordan Seaton either. So Colorado, my record for Colorado is, to be honest with you, I see they go 9-3. So they lose 2 games. I don't know what those 2 games are going to be. I don't think they're going to be games that you just mentioned. But they go 9-3, and then they go to the Big 12 championship.
All right, you're saying a lot now. That's too much.
I mean, other teams done lost 1 game.
Utah Not everybody.
Utah lost. Who hasn't lost?
Who am I missing?
Everybody done lost.
I don't think so. I'm trying to pull up the schedule right now, and I can't even pull it up. Big 12. Oh, BYU. There we go. And Iowa State.
Okay. BYU and Iowa State. Yeah, definitely. Iowa State's gonna lose for sure.
To who?
Then, what you mean to who? They still got to play UCF.
Oh, so now UCF's not good? Is that better team?
I said UCF was a good team. I didn't say they weren't a good team. I just said that Colorado played better.
All right.
Give me your next fresh off the press, right? This glazed donut is getting hard over here. It's getting crazy. Go ahead and give me a chocolate donut.
Oh my gosh. So Georgia losing to Alabama. Is this the stumble for Georgia coming off of the loss to Alabama, almost losing to Kentucky, and their road isn't getting any easier down the line? So is this like quote unquote a down year for Georgia, even though they're still really good, going to be good?
Nah, I just think Georgia got out coached. There's not many coaches in the SEC that's gonna out coach Kirby Smart. He just didn't know Kalen DeBoer was really like that. You feel me? You know when you go into unfamiliar territory, and you're like, oh, them boys ain't really like that, and then they get to start shooting, and you get to start ducking because you don't know what's going on. That's exactly what happened. Georgia's still Georgia though, but you tell them every time they come to Alabama, we really like that over here. We really like that.
Right.
They're going to beat Auburn. They'll beat Mississippi State. They won't beat Texas. So they will have 2 losses on their schedule for sure. And they'll beat everybody else. They'll beat Florida, Ole Miss, Tennessee, UMass, and Georgia Tech. Is that enough to make it to the SEC? Is that enough to make it to the SEC championship? I don't know. The Tennessee game, maybe if Tennessee got 1 loss, Bama got 1 loss, and then it could be a 3-way tiebreaker. Georgia lost to Bama, Bama lost to Tennessee, Tennessee lost to Georgia. Who get in?
You're not giving no type of credit to Tennessee there?
No, I said I give Tennessee 1 loss.
No, I'm saying you automatically said Georgia's beating Tennessee.
Yeah, they got to go to Athens. That's not happening.
Okay.
Nico not Jalen. Nico good, but Nico not Jalen.
All right. So no love for Tennessee. Got it.
No love for Rocky Top.
All right. That's crazy. It's like you went to Alabama or something. It's wild.
I know, right? I went to Wayland. That's wild. And UCF.
Oh my goodness. So the way is looking for Oregon right now. Undefeated. They beat UCLA. The next game is Michigan State, which we saw what's her name? Ohio State struggled for a second, but then they pulled away. And then we go to Ohio State on the 12th.
Well, Ohio State comes to you.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. I'm just going off of this. It's not telling me where games are at. But anyway, is this where we see Oregon start losing games against Michigan State, Ohio State, Illinois, Michigan, and then Washington down the line?
James, do you have somebody that can guard Jeremiah Smith on Oregon's secondary?
This is not a question for me. This is your
I
question.
have to I have to ask you this question. It's your question, but I'm a rebuttal it. Do you have anybody on Oregon that can stop Jeremiah Smith?
everybody.
Everybody? Boy, it's gonna be a tough
Put,
night for y'all.
put a D tackle out there on him. It don't
Yeah, all
matter.
right. He gonna smoke his ass. All right. Oregon. Here's what I do. I trust Dan Lanning as a coach, as from Nick Saban's tree, that he'll figure it out. However, it'll be interesting to see that matchup of Oregon against Ohio State and then Illinois and all these other Big Ten teams. But I don't think they start losing, to be honest with you. I think y'all can beat Ohio State. Think you could beat Purdue. Think you could beat Illinois. Think you could beat Michigan State. Where I think you're going to run trouble into is when you got to go play Michigan, honestly, because your run defense is not. It's not scaring nobody. It's not spooky. So
Okay. I didn't say you had to be disrespectful. I was just asking the question. Anyway, on to Ole Miss. Ole Miss, they just lost to Kentucky. They have South Carolina, LSU, Oklahoma, Arkansas, Georgia, Florida, Mississippi State. So their next 3 games are ranked opponents. Oh, sorry, 2 games besides South Carolina, but South Carolina is still a stout team. Is this where we see Ole Miss being exposed, or was it just a fluke for Kentucky to pull it off?
they already got the pants pulled down. It's being exposed. We naked right now in the streets of Mississippi. You feel me? It's been the NIL money already done went through to everybody else. It's not working. As far as I'm concerned, Lane Kiffin took a private plane to Florida to go see what the vibes was like after the hurricane. South Carolina defense is going to smack them. LSU might be a good matchup. It's going to be a shootout. But hear me out. LSU got a offensive line that can hold that defensive line that Ole Miss transfer portal in. They got to play Oklahoma. Maybe Oklahoma's got to figure it out by then. Don't know, but that could be a loss. So yeah, I think they are exposed. I think you lost to Kentucky, brother. Kentucky. I don't think Kentucky's that good.
All right, you just saw Kentucky almost beat Georgia as well. So I don't
But
know why
Georgia,
you.
and we just saw Georgia get spanked 28-0 in the first half. What we really talking about?
And they came back, and what?
They did come back. I give you that. Still a dub on my part.
All right.
But stay on topic. Ole Miss, yes, Ole Miss did get exposed. It could get rough in the second half of the schedule in October and November, especially in November. They got to go to Arkansas. They got to play Georgia, Florida, and Mississippi is really giveaway games. But yeah, it could get spooky before Thanksgiving for sure.
All right. Well, last one. Let's talk about your team. So does Alabama run through the SEC and all the way through the playoffs, the SEC championship and the playoffs as an undefeated team?
No, we need a loss. We need some adversity. We need a loss. And let me tell you, the loss that we're gonna take is gonna hurt. And I'm gonna tell you why it's gonna hurt. The loss we're gonna hurt because we got to go to Rocky Top. I hate that orange. Texas orange I like, but that Rocky Top orange, disrespectful. I could pee on it if I wanted to. That's how disrespectful
All
I
right.
hate that. That look, Nico against our secondary might be Heisman numbers. Hopefully our secondary could get better by then, because that's our weak spot. But hey, no. So the answer is no. I don't think. Now listen, we make it to the playoffs, and we done been through some adversity, and we win an SEC championship, and we get a bye. We get a bye, which means we get rest. Come see us. Ball up top, as some people would say. Ball up top.
So You say y'all may lose to Tennessee,
Mm-hmm.
but then you say Georgia is going to beat Tennessee.
Yes.
Why? This is just off the dome because that was my last question. But now that you said that, what makes you think that Tennessee beats Alabama and loses to Georgia? And that after we
Uh,
just seen Alabama beat Georgia.
because Tennessee has a better quarterback than Georgia has. Nico is
Wait,
a better quarterback than Carson Beck. Yeah, I said it. Nico, and they have a better running game. They got a better. No, I don't have a better coach, but I think they got a better atmosphere, a better program. Tennessee, we got to go to Rocky Top, okay? Tennessee got to go to Athens. We got to travel. And Georgia don't. Georgia gets to play with their home crowd. So yeah, I'm telling you, it's gonna be a 3-way tie, and we don't know who's gonna get in. Somebody else got to lose a game, and it's probably gonna be Georgia, or it's
gotcha.
probably gonna be Tennessee.
All right. Well, just needed that explanation real quick, but that was it for me.
All right. Well, folks, we appreciate y'all coming through. As you can see, always we got the new layout. You see your boy over there shined up. I ain't got my gold on today. I'm not flashy. Just want to make sure you see the A. A
Anyway,
for amazing. As you can see, we got our Twitter, our Instagram, and our pod and our TikTok all at the bottom of the screen. You can follow us, add us, ask us questions from there. As always, we appreciate y'all listening to us. This will be live on YouTube or will be uploaded on YouTube in an audio version. You can get it on Spotify, um, Apple, wherever you listen to your podcast, Amazon, wherever it'll be on there. James, you got anything else for the people?
no, yeah, hit them all. Thank y'all for always tuning in. Just keep liking and sharing and subscribing to everything. It just puts us out there more and brings in more people to check out our pod. So thank y'all.
All right, man. It is Charles and James. We are out. This is the Over and Under podcast. Peace.